How is that possible?
Hoovie, 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 you idiot. How could you let a scam befall you? Or was it really anyone's fault? Today, team, we're going to be taking a look at the Hoovie Turo controversy. As we all know, our beloved father of buying stupid cars, Tyler Hoover, had a scam recently run on him on Turo. Or did he? Now, today we're going to be looking at what I think about this scam. Did the Turo host actually try to quote-unquote scam Tyler, or was Tyler overreacting a little bit?
It's a really cool concept. You can get much more interesting cars than you would find at the rental counter by renting it from individuals, and Turo acts as the go-between. In this case, I was going to Las Vegas for a few days to film with Shelby American, which a video will come out with that soon, and I found a manual Dodge Challenger Hellcat on there, which is really cool. Manual transmissions is very rare, first of all.
From the get-go, we see that our host, Sonny, has a perfect 5-star rating over 127 trips. That's pretty immaculate if you ask me. That's better than what mine is overall. The other fact of the matter is Tyler booked a manual Dodge Challenger Hellcat, a 700 horsepower manual 2-door coupe. So I would assume prices, insurance, and other things are going to be expensive. I would also assume this vehicle is going to be very beat up already. Yes, I love them all, but they do tend to beat the brakes off of every car that I rent, whether it's a base Macan or my Tesla Model Y Performance.
And a Hellcat, think of that as a rental, and somebody was offering it for a grand total of $120 a day, which sounds like an absolute bargain. For 2 days, that's $240, but you see I have my phone out. Here come the fees. The pickup fee to drop it off the airport, $100, I knew that. Standard protection, $96, that was 2 days with the standard protection, where if something happens, you don't pay more than $500, and you really need that in my opinion with Turo, which I'll get into here in a little bit. The trip fee was $34.16, other taxes and fees, and then there was a damage cost for a grand total of $751.34 for my 2-day rental, but it could have been much worse. Now, the renter only...
Now, to break the numbers down, $120 a day, $100 for drop-off, $96 for insurance. I don't really understand why Hoovie meant by excessive costs, per se. He's renting a 700 horsepower manual American sports car, muscle car, whatever you want to call it. I would assume that's pretty expensive, and honestly, for what he rented it for, it's not that bad. No one in their right mind, especially a rental car company, would let you out in a car like this. It's a massive liability for them, but this host wanted to take it on, so I'm on the host's side for now.
Right after I did that, he was like, thank you, but also you damaged the car. And then he sent me this picture. You can see a very, very, very little surface scratch that could probably be buffed out in all of, 2, 3, 5 minutes that he thinks I caused by a collision, even though the lower splitter isn't damaged. It seemed fishy. Obviously, you're in Las Vegas and things can happen, but also it's a little itty-bitty scratch that could easily be buffed out in a few minutes. And also, if you look at the front bumper, the rest of it, it is completely shot. This car is weather-beaten. It's damaged from previous rentals, especially on the other side of the bumper, completely scraped, needs to be repainted. The paint is weathered from the Las Vegas sun. This thing has dings all over. It is beat, and he's going after me for a little itty-bitty scratch. He said he was going to turn it in, and he wanted to be fair.
This is where this video takes a turn. As a host, you see little dings and dents and scratches all the time. This little scratch here could have been there before. You really wouldn't be able to tell. But in this case, I'm on Hoovie's side. That little scratch right there is honestly nothing. I get little scratches like that on the Macan all the time, and I just buff them out myself. I'm not going to charge my customer for that. It's not a very good experience, and it's not like you're going to get that rental again.
So he turned that in, and I was a little ticked off, but then he turned in that and this picture as well. Take a look at this. He is claiming I caused all of those scratches going through the door handle with me, with no fingernails, no rings, no nothing, in a less than 48-hour rental. How is that possible?
On top of that, the door handle is just insane. That door handle has been scratched a million times, and even though Tyler didn't take close enough pictures of it, Sonny should not have at all charged or tried to charge Tyler for this damage. It's clearly an overtime thing. There's at least 1 million little scratches on that door handle.
It was absolutely the dumbest thing ever, and that's when I got really, really mad at this guy. Obviously, I returned the rental and I left a negative review based on all of this. Turo completely got rid of the review right away, probably because I mentioned this guy was doing some squirrely stuff in my opinion, but also the car felt pretty beat as well. The clutch, when I would be in 6th gear on the highway and would accelerate a little bit, it would start to slip. So the clutch, in my opinion, felt near the end of its life, and it was a pretty beat car. Obviously, it's had a lot of damage in the rental business over the years, and he hasn't fixed any of it, but it does seem like he enjoys collecting the money for it. So
I would also agree with Tyler Hoover here as well. You have to maintain your vehicles while they're on Turo. Now, does every single thing need to get fixed? No, not everything is really that important, but the suspension, important parts like that are incredibly important. And he said the clutch was slipping. Imagine if your customer is out on a long journey. Maybe they rented it to go somewhere far away. Imagine the clutch just completely goes and they're 1,000 miles away. You'd essentially be totally screwed. You'd have to get the car towed, and you'd essentially ruin your customer's experience for the entire trip because you wouldn't take care of the problem. In conclusion, you need to watch out for scammy type of Turo listings. I would say these are my 3 things to look out for when looking for a Turo car and to understand what is a scam. First is going to be bad pictures. Bad pictures of the car can indicate a lot of things. One, a non-serious host. If they're a non-serious host, they won't deal with serious problems. So if you're break down, if you need a tow, if you need anything at all, they don't care. They're just trying to pay off the car and do whatever. Second thing is going to be no ratings or bad ratings. In this case, Sonny had a lot of ratings, so that was kind of surprising. But if the hosts themselves has no ratings, or if the car itself has bad ratings, you should probably stay away from it. Not saying you shouldn't give a new host a chance, but it is a big of risk for you. 3 is going to be a kind of a duality. You're going to have extremely high prices, so overly priced cars, which of course I would hope you would stay away from, or extremely low priced cars based on what the rental is. Like my Tesla Model Y, I price it lower, so in the 100 range, but there is one available for $50 a day. I would assume that person is trying to go for a cash grab or insurance fraud and blame you for something that clearly didn't happen. To sum it up, team, I think Tyler's actually in the right here. I think the host is totally in the wrong. I think what they did is kind of absurd and it makes us all look bad. Tyler, if you're ever in the St. Louis area, we'd love to have you. But team, have a tremendous rest of your day. Peace.